Hey guys, welcome back to LegitStreetCars, and I'm just gonna start this off with a little rant, but like 75% of the car shippers from car auctions, they are horrible with letting you know when your car is gonna arrive. So this car was bought and paid for a few weeks ago. They said they picked it up a week ago, and that's it. Now, apparently, it's right in front of my shop. So Max just let me know that a blue Alpina BMW is on a truck right now. So anyway, let's go see what we got. All right, here we go. We got a Taycan, beautiful color, and here we are, a B7 Alpina 2011. I love the color. Okay, this thing was definitely keyed, apparently. So this is a bank repo car. I'll tell you guys all about it once we get it off of the trailer, but it was listed as a run and drive. This was a big cluster, and then the original driver went to go get it and it wouldn't run and drive, and no one knew what was wrong with it. I don't even know at this point what's going on. They're hooking up a jumper to it right now. Okay, it runs. And it doesn't sound like it has a rod knock, which is always good. No rod knocks is what we like here at LegitStreetCars. This car has 100,000 miles, bank repossessed, and from the interior pictures on the auction site, it just looks like someone just partied it up in this car, knowing it was gonna get repossessed. Ooh, yeah, it's not running the best. Oh, this is gonna be a basket case. I'm so excited. So the back glass was busted out, as you can see here. Oh man, that's not good. I really hope water didn't get in, but I don't see how it couldn't have. These were such cool cars when they're new, but unfortunately your typical life cycle of one of these cars is the first owner really loves it. They spend like $125,000 on it, and then by the time it hits like the third or fourth owner, they just don't realize how expensive they are to maintain, and everything just goes downhill from there. Okay, this is running so bad right now. Oh, look at this. I mean, when it gets to the point where you're treating your car like this, you haven't done any of the maintenance, any of the repairs. We got a flat tire here. They're Michelin Pilot Super Sports. These are really expensive. Look at these big brakes. 21 inch, that one's good. That one's good, so we just gotta get some air in the other one. It's all dry rotted. These are probably super old. What happens to people when they start treating a car like this so poorly? If you can look past its deficiencies, this is absolutely beautiful. And although it is misfiring really bad, we're not getting any smoke out of here, any oil burning, anything like that. Just got done signing off on the shipment. Wow. This thing is shaking so bad. It's in gear. We're driving. It is a run and drive. When you buy a car at an auction, if it's listed as running drive, lot driving is what they mean. I mean, sometimes they might run well, but it just has to move a little bit on its own power. I'm halfway down on the gas right now. We're barely making it. Woo! All right, we got the car back in the shop. Let's see if this will open. Power assist doesn't work. What do we got going on in here? Got some cheap floor mats. Sweet. Oh no. That's water. That's not good. Oh no. Oh no. You gotta be kidding me. It reeks in here. This water's had to have been sitting for a very long time. That's kind of cool though. Why? Why? If it was just protected a little bit better in the back, this wouldn't have happened. Oh no, look at this. Oh, there we go. Cool. Look at that. We're ahead of the game already. We got the little rear bumper piece that's missing. We just go like that. Oh, are you kidding me? Look at that. We've basically already rebuilt the entire thing. That looks so good. Okay, that looks like a little hand. That's kind of weird. Hopefully nothing jumps out at me. I don't know if this is factory, but this is actually pretty cool looking. Like how they integrated that into the seat. A lot of times, like on my Escalade, it just looks aftermarket. That might be aftermarket, I don't know. Oh, cool suede headliner. This is a total mystery auction car. Sight unseen. This was from a dealer auction in Detroit. This thing definitely seems like it's been beaten up quite a bit. I gotta say though, the seats are in really good condition. I mean, this is really dirty, but this will definitely clean up. Just needs a couple vents. The screen's not smashed in. The cluster looks good. The steering wheel's a little beat up. This is hilarious. It's got the 6-disc changer, or however many discs that is right there. Aside from the water and it misfiring, I'm kind of okay with this car so far. We're obviously gonna put it up on the lift. And oh, we gotta scan it for codes. I really don't wanna run it anymore with it misfiring. And then I'll tell you all about this. I haven't really even explained to you anything really about this car, but I will in a minute. I'm just so eager to dig in. All right, so we got the Alpina in the stall. I wanna hook up a battery charger before we start checking for codes, since this had to be jumped off. Let's take this out, see what else we're dealing with. Okay, so here's the battery, 419. Okay, not bad. So about a 3-year-old Mopar battery. We'll get a charger going on there. And let's see here. Oh no. So the battery is literally sitting in water. We have what might be like a battery control unit, or no, that's a relay. That definitely got wet right there. This stuff probably got wet as well. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Wonderful. This may have gotten wet. Probably got wet. Oh yeah, even this is wet too. Not good at all. Oh, there's more. Of course there's more. There's probably like 100 modules on this car. I'm gonna go ahead and assume like the radio doesn't work. It's probably got an amplifier that's sitting in water. Great. How much would it take for you to drink that? Ew, that is so gross. I say, these are the fanciest fasteners I've ever seen. I wonder if this is an Alpina thing. Oh yeah, this is all wet. All this wiring is wet. Green fuzz, green fuzz, green fuzz. Huh? Okay, it's nice. What is this guy? A little blue stuff. Okay, looking pretty clean so far. There's definitely water in here, but I don't know. Might take all this apart and dry it. Ah, the irony. Do not spill liquids or carry leaking containers in trunk. Electrical components may be damaged. Okay. Oh, this is not getting any better. There's still water on this side. Oh yeah, this is probably why the audio isn't gonna work. I'm just gonna assume there's no way that radio turns on. Look at this cute little BMW fan. It's supposed to keep all these guys cool. These are water cooled now. Oh yeah, this has gotta be for the amp. See the fiber optics? There we go. There's the corrosion. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and assume all of these modules will need to be replaced. But anyway, at this point, let me get a fan going on in here and we'll hook up a battery jumper and scan for codes. Reserve fuel, ignition switched on. All right, yep, this isn't working right now, but it did come up for like a minute and I was able to check the oil real quick. That was one of the first things I wanted to do, and there's no dipstick, of course. So you can check the oil through this screen. Surprisingly, the oil level is perfect, but this won't come back on probably because of all the modules in the trunk that were underwater at some point. All right, let's get straight to the good stuff. I want to scan this car for codes. I think there'll be probably over 100 of them. But of course, to do that, we're going to be using the Carly Connected Car OBD Diagnostic tool, and this is a very powerful and portable tool that just plugs into your diagnostic connector, just like that. All right, so Carly is connecting to the Alpina. All right, cool, we're gonna get right into health diagnostics, and here we go. Right now, Carly is scanning all of the control units on this car. And the ability to scan every control unit on a vehicle is a feature reserved normally for very expensive scan tools. But Carly's super affordable. I'll drop a link down below, of course, with a coupon code. But let's see, how many issues are we gonna find? Place your guesses down below. I'm gonna go with 48. Wait a minute, no, I'm gonna say 78. We're only 10% of the way done. 15? Oh, this is gonna be bad. I had to start the car up. The ignition would turn itself off after about 10, 15 seconds, but yeah. All right, how many issues did you guess? Don't lie. 243 issues found. That means there are 243 codes in all of the computers. This is crazy. Definitely a world record here for LegitStreetCars. I mean, look at this. This is just nuts. Just a code in literally everything. Right now I'm focused on the engine because this runs so bad. All right, critical issues. Tank venting, okay, that's no big deal. That's a purge emissions type of code. Here we go. Cylinder 5, misfire. Cylinder 4, misfire. Cylinder 8, misfire. Misfiring several cylinders. Exhaust harmful to startup. Great. This is really cool with Carly. It kind of puts everything in the layman's terms for you. Potential consequences. Motor may show bucking, shaking behavior. Yes, it is. Power reduction. So you don't have to be a mechanic to use Carly. Here we go. Turbocharger, coolant pump. Great, that's probably dead. Misfire 6. Misfiring, tank level too low. It is very, very low on gas. And if this car's been sitting for a while, it could just have bad gas, honestly. Coolant temperature sensor, so this could be a bad thermostat. All right, here we go. Battery monitoring, deep discharge. So believe it or not, especially on cars with so many computers, a low battery can cause a lot of issues too, even running issues. Let's see, what do we have in transmission? Hand communication, of course, that could be the water getting in. So the control units can't speak to each other because some of them might be shorted out. Our first step has to be to clear these issues out. So we're gonna blow all the codes out and then take it out for a ride, hopefully, if it'll drive out of here. and see what comes back. With this many codes, it definitely is gonna take a couple minutes. All right, so all of our codes have been cleared. Let's see. It's gonna pop back up immediately. Charge battery, I've been doing that. Oh wow, last service was like 3 years ago. Unbelievable. All right, so check engine light is just back on immediately, so we definitely have a hard fault, but that's kind of good. That'll help us with diagnosis that we don't have to wait for it to come back on. This thing's idling really well. Wow, this is nice. Whoa, this is running beautifully now. Oh yeah, you gotta be kidding me. Before, this thing was running on like 4 cylinders. It was shaking all over the place. It didn't really have any throttle at all. And now it's smooth as glass. Look at that. Look at this. Perfectly smooth. Like, it doesn't even need motor mounts. That's kind of odd. Okay. Oh, this is really cool. So you can see the Alpina parts. And amongst many things, they do tuning to the car. These get bigger turbochargers, and it bumps the horsepower up to 500. And I think these intercoolers are from them as well. They say Alpina on them. Very nice. Now, this S63 engine is one of the worst BMW engines ever. These would eat a lot of oil, and pretty much everything would go bad. These were horrible engines as far as reliability, but when they worked, they made good power and were a lot of fun to drive. So, speaking of driving, let's get this thing up in the air and make sure that a control arm's not gonna fall off and that the car is generally safe. But before we can do that, we have to figure out a way to get air in this one tire that's flat. Hopefully the tire's okay. But there is no valve stem on the outside. There isn't one on the inside. These are special Alpina wheels, and they hide the valve stem behind this little cover that has a lock. And of course, we don't have the keys for it. So Peter's trying to pick it. Peter, why do you know how to pick locks?
I don't. I'm just guessing.
Okay.
I'm guessing this is what happened.
All right.
Oh, there she is.
All right, so we ended up having to drill it, obviously. Could not pick it. And this is how you fill the tires up on an Alpina. This is so weird. Is this actually not coming out right away?
Yeah, no,
Dude, that would be amazing. This actually has a lot of meat too. These are really expensive tires. We just limped it in here. It was basically flat, but sidewall looks pretty good. I can't wait to look under here. What are we gonna find? Kind of scared. All right, with some air in the tire, we're about to go for a ride, but I wanna inspect what's going on underneath the car first. I'm expecting a complete disaster, but let's start from the back. So this does have factory active exhaust, pretty cool. And then we have a big differential cooler, a minor diff leak, no big deal. And there doesn't look to be any damage to this control arm. The axle and the boots look to be in good condition. So far, so good. Nothing leaking from that shock, and nothing leaking from that probably really expensive shock. So, all right, cool. Exhaust so far looks to be stock and in good condition. We got a good flex disc. All right, we're getting towards the front. This is where I'm expecting a disaster. We already found a little leak here, probably from the rear main seal. I would assume so. This is a rear-wheel drive Alpina. You could get these in the all-wheel drive as well, but as we can see here, no axles going on. Okay, this shock is good. Gigantic brakes. That shock is also good. Control arm bushings look good. Boots aren't torn. Wow. All right. So far, this isn't too bad. We have an active sway bar. These are really cool. They can adjust the stiffness of the sway bar as you're turning. Another decent bushing there. We have our power steering rack that isn't leaking at all. Wow. Are you kidding me? This thing seems to be in pretty good shape. No play in the joints, nothing. Okay, I was wrong. Maybe this was maintained? I don't know. I'm pretty sure there was a class action lawsuit with this S63 engine. They would just burn a ton of oil, even at 20, 30,000 miles. And look at the engine right there. That looks really shiny. At 100,000 miles, there's a very good chance this engine has been replaced once, maybe twice, who knows. Yeah, that looks really clean here on the driver's side as well. You hear that? This has fluid-filled engine mounts. And it looks like they have been leaking at some point, or they were leaking at some point. But wait, is that a date code right there? Wow, that'd be right in line when this car was made. Are these the original engine mounts? That's like impossible. I've never replaced engine mounts on one of these before, but I'm gonna assume that maybe this is the engine mount housing and you replace the mount that's inside of it, because this has clearly been leaking at some point. And I just really doubt that at 100,000 miles, this has the original engine mounts. On non-performance vehicles, these things can go at 50, 60,000 miles. But anyway, everything is looking pretty good. We don't really have any major leaks from the engine. The whole front timing cover, all the accessories, the belts, everything looks good. It runs good too. Oh, this thing sounds so good. I can't wait to get it on the road. Oh, come on. Don't tell me we're having a window issue. Oh, no, no, no. This is one of those stupid BMW things. Hang on. Watch, it has one touch and it works, except if you hit one touch up and you open the door, it stops. That's so ridiculous. Then the one touch doesn't work with the door open. It makes no sense. Luckily, I have Carly continue window action when door is open. Let's go ahead and click that on. Code car. Okay, and Carly's doing its thing. All right, coding was successful. So now we hit one touch, and it works with the door open. This is how the car should have been made. It's so annoying that BMW does that. But the coding options with Carly are unbelievable. It's literally limitless. You can have a ton of fun playing around with your car, and it'll list out each module that has coding that you can change. And there's a lot in this car. And probably one of my favorite features with Carly, this is invaluable, the used car check. So whenever I'm looking at a car in person, I always bring Carly with me and double check this to make sure the mileage hasn't been tampered with. Carly has detected no tampering. So what it does is it compares the VIN, the mileage, the average speed, and a few other things in multiple different control units to make sure that they line up. So a lot of times they'll just modify the mileage in the cluster, but then you could read the engine computer, for example, and see the mileage there. And if it doesn't match up, that means it's been tampered with. So this is huge if you're buying really any used car from anywhere. So clearly you can do a lot with Carly, and it's super affordable. I've used scanners that cost thousands of dollars that can't do any of the coding that Carly can do. They can't do the used car check. This is a phenomenal value, and you can check compatibility for the coding on your car right on their website before you buy. So I'm gonna drop a custom link down below and a coupon code. It's LegitStreetCars. That's gonna save you 15% off your very own Carly connected tool. So a big thanks to Carly for continuing to support automotive content creators like myself, and for helping me fix stupid BMW issues like no one touch with the door open. That's just, it makes no sense. Anyway, with that, let's go burn some rubber and go for a ride. Smooth. This is crazy. Now, it's possible that the gas in this thing is really old, and we only have like probably a half gallon of it left. So this car was a repo car, but it was also a theft recovery car. It's got a very weird history, but there's a good chance with these theft recovery or repo cars that they get hung up at the auction for a very long time. So, you know, the service said it was due like 3 years ago, and it's possible that it wasn't really all that past due, and it's just been sitting around it a lot and passed around, you know, a bunch of times. Sometimes there's litigation with the insurance company and all sorts of stuff that takes time. So there's a good chance we just have some really old fuel in here. So anyway, let's go get some fuel. It's still running okay. Yeah, sorry for all the wind noise. I retaped up the back glass because it's raining right now. I didn't want to get any water in the trunk, but okay, hold on. Now it's shaking on me. Okay, it's misfiring again. Oh, come on, baby. Uh-oh, I'm all the way down. Oh, don't die on me. Oh, there we go. Power's back. No, okay. This thing's got some issues. Luckily, we are right at the gas station right now. All right, I had some heat at the shop just in case we have water in the tank, and I'm just gonna do a little bit of this. I think this will treat like 20 gallons, so I don't know. I probably just overdid it with half of it, but that's okay. And at these prices, we're probably not gonna fill the entire tank. That could total out a car in itself these days, but I'm just gonna put a few gallons in there just to see what we're working with. I wanna make sure that this car is in okay shape because there's a possibility we just flip it right back at the auction. And this is what we're working with, people. 4 gallons for 22 bucks. Makes sense? If you guys saw my road trip video from Kansas in my CL65, then you know what bad fuel can do. It can make a car just run absolutely horrible. So it's misfiring right now. Oh geez, that is so bad, dude.
It's like not even letting me go.
All right, how far down are you?
Like quarter throttle.
Quarter throttle? Oh my God. Oh, this is horrible. So there we go, we got a quarter tank. So this might take a few miles to kind of circulate through. I'm hoping that's the issue because yeah, this thing can run really badly when it wants to. And it did have a code for misfiring due to low fuel or something like that. So right now it's running good, it's shifting good. Oh, it's running really nice, just clean. Usually takes a little bit of time for that fuel to kind of work its way in there though. So we'll just keep, oh, here we go. I just felt it, now it's misfiring. Oh yeah. Okay. Well, it's not shaking around like it did when I got it off the trailer, but it's definitely missing a little bit right now. And for some reason, this trunk keeps on telling me it is open. It keeps on telling me it's open. Okay. What in the world? Okay, great. This thing is just popping on its own now. All right, well, that could have something to do with the water in the trunk, making modules freak out, very possible. All right, hang on, I just came back to the shop. I'm actually going to remove this. It stopped raining, and it's just so loud when I'm driving, and I don't plan on driving this in the rain, really. All right, I'll do a better job when I have more time. We still gotta clean this car up. Man, I really got this on good. This is very satisfying, I'm not gonna lie. There we go. So all that water came in through here. This all definitely got wet. What a shame. What a shame. They went through the trouble of covering it up and then someone pokes a hole in it. It could be a lot worse. It doesn't smell in there at all. It just smells in the trunk. Okay, just kind of jam this guy in there like so. Might as well just take this off. Okay, cool. It's like we have a dual sunroof Alpina now. Oh, and I just noticed this little plaque here. Very cool, very cool. This was such a nice car when it was new, but I have been letting it run for about 15 minutes, just idling. I didn't want to drive it too much. And it seems to be running better. Hold on, as I say that, it's still missing. It's got a little miss. It could be the fuel. It seems to be clearing up. I mean, before when oh yeah, it's shaking right now. Yeah, I spoke too soon. The engine is kind of bouncing back and forth a little bit. It's still much better than when it came off the trailer. So there is a possibility that the fuel is cycling its way through right now and clearing things up. It's possible. Oh, it doesn't sound good. Yeah, that's missing for sure. Sometimes if I just shut it off and then start it back up, it kind of fixes itself. Yep, there it is. Now it's fixed. It's running beautifully again. We have an ABS light on, so it has no traction control whatsoever. Just laying into it a little bit. You can tell this thing has got a ton of power, 500 horsepower. You can think of Alpina as what AMG used to be before Mercedes bought them out, and BMW just announced that they're buying out Alpina. But that just happened, so up until now, BMW just had an arrangement with Alpina in Germany, and basically they would send the cars there to get the Alpina treatment, which included a lot of things, and you can get it done on the X-Drive version of this one as well, and then it turns into a B7. So upgraded turbos, upgraded braking system, suspension, interior work, wheels, body kit stuff, just the whole 9 yards. It was really just like kind of an M version sort of a more luxurious car. So they kept with all of the luxuries, but just made it faster, and they command a massive premium. I think a newer Alpina like this right now is like $150,000 or something like that. But a very, very nice car when they're new, and then after 100,000 miles and probably like 16 owners, they turn into something like we have here. So this car was a vandalism car and a repo car. So I'll let your imagination kind of figure out what happened there. Someone might have vandalized their own car for insurance reasons. Maybe they did an investigation, figured out it was fraud, then they didn't want to pay on the payment, or who knows? Who knows? No traction. There we go. It's just burning the tires up. No traction control at all. But man, it runs good. My friend Sam Crack, bought this car at a dealer auction in Detroit, and he bought this many months ago, and it was a run and drive. So he went to get it shipped, and then the shipper said, no, it doesn't run or drive. So that person wouldn't put it on their truck. It turned into a big whole deal. And then by the time they were able to figure anything else out, the gas prices skyrocketed, and it went from being like $500 to get it shipped to him in Florida to, I think it was like $1,800. And it still wasn't a run and drive any longer. So it was a big cluster. So Sam was like, Alex, it's $385 to get it shipped to Chicago. You know, do you want to take a look at the car for me? And if it's worth it, I'll get it shipped to Florida. If not, we're just going to dump it right back at the auction. He was kind of just done with it. The whole process was just insane. So that's why I have it at LegitStreetCars. I couldn't turn down a repo vandalism B7 Alpina to have a little bit of fun with and see if I could fix it up on the cheap for him or something. I don't know what we're doing at this point. So right now, we're just cycling some fuel in here. If we can fix the rough running for essentially just a few dollars in gas, well, many dollars in gas, and half a bottle of heat, then we're way ahead of the game. Now, it has obviously a million other codes. It's keyed. It would need like a whole new paint job probably. I'll see what I can buff out. And obviously the water damage in the back. So basically, I'm going to start to add all this stuff up for him and figure out if it's worth it. So he paid $15,000 for this clean Title 2011 two-wheel drive Alpina with 102,000 miles on it. And if it wasn't damaged in any way and just had 102,000 miles but maintained, it could be worth, you know, $25,000, $28,000, $30,000 in this market. So it could be a good car where you could flip it and make a few bucks on it, but we know how expensive these parts are. And obviously a paint job is very, very expensive, and I can't do that. It moves well. But anyway, this thing's running great, guys. It's running really nice. It might have cleared up with the fuel. We're gonna find out, but at least we know it has the possibility of running well, and there's no actual engine damage. It doesn't have a rod knock or anything like that. The people at the auction, it just needed a jump start. Like they didn't want to jump start it, or the shipper, I don't know. It boggles the mind sometimes how they will list cars and how easily they give up. So depending on who got this at the auction would determine whether or not it was a run and drive or not. And it just needed a jump, basically. Their run and drive, it could misfire and all that. That doesn't matter. It's still considered a run and drive. But to have sold this as a non-runner, it would have devalued this car even more. Honestly, it would have been much better for Sam had they just done that from the get-go. Probably would have gotten it for like 10. Since we don't have ABS or traction control on this, might be a good time to test out if this thing will do a burnout or not. All right, guys, as you can see, this thing runs like a top. It has all of its power, just absolutely perfect. So I'm gonna go ahead and say this is a case of bad fuel. It could have been sitting at an auction lot for a couple of years. It had very little fuel, and fuel goes bad. And then engines run bad, but not anymore. Also, check it out. We're down to only 94 issues. All right, this is one I think that's kicking the light on right away. Turbocharger coolant pump short to ground. It could just have a bad coolant pump. Wouldn't be the first time I've seen that. And then these are still misfire codes that I bet you we can blow out. Misfiring, tank level low, misfiring, misfiring. Okay, so we can pretty much get rid of all those. It's not misfiring anymore. All right, we're gonna blow that out. I wanna see what's going on with ABS. We might have created this one. Target brake torque, some coordinated qualifier, erroneous, something, whatever. That's maybe a burnout code. Because we're almost at as many green check marks as yellow, orange, and red warning signs. Very, very bad. All right, so I've cleared out all the codes. Let's see what we got going on here on the dashboard. No more check engine light. Cool. Before it would come on immediately. And it's still running well, no check engine light. So who knows? Maybe the code for the pump won't come back. I'll take it out for another drive, but we definitely still have all these ABS lights on, and I'm thinking that this might be an issue with the control unit. Okay, so unfortunately, the ABS control unit, or DSC control unit, Dynamic Stability Control, I believe is what that stands for, is under here, and I think you gotta take this entire panel out to get to it or to get good access, but I just wanna do what's called a circuit 30 reset. Basically, we're pulling power from this thing manually. What is going on? Okay, all right, well, we figured out what's wrong here. Oh man, you gotta be kidding me. This is probably expensive. What happened here? There's no sign of an accident or anything, but the front of the control unit is busted. Look at that, you can see the inside of the control unit and the whole front plastic is cracked off. Oh, wonderful. So I'm gonna go ahead and say that that thing is damaged, and that's why the ABS lights and everything are coming on immediately, and the codes are really weird. So it's not popping up as like a speed sensor or anything. It's like internal error codes. All right, hang on, we gotta take a better look at that module. I mean, it doesn't make a lot of sense. There is absolutely no damage in this area. It doesn't look like parts are new. They're all dirty, and this thing is smashed. And the mounts are intact too. So if it was hit from the front, like all of this would have been damaged. I mean, there's literal spider webs in here. So I just don't get it. Let's just take this piece off here. And there you have it. I'm gonna go ahead and assume the circuit board here is damaged, but what in the world happened to this ABS module? Maybe that was part of the vandalism, but it'd have to be vandalized by a BMW mechanic or someone very familiar with these cars that knew that the ABS module was right there, because that is not a normal spot. And I'm curious, how much is this ABS module? Maybe the guy was trying to inflict the most damage possible, and that's like a $3,000 part. All right, here it is, genuine BMW ABS module, and $1,700. So not too bad, and you can find this kind of stuff used as well. If you were to buy everything new, including all the modules in the trunk, you're probably looking around $5,000, but you could probably do it for half if you can find these things used, so not the end of the world. This is something that I find odd. It looks like this harness was painted blue, like the calipers, so the calipers are blue, but was this just painted over? It looked like this was a factory blue caliper paint job from either BMW or Alpina, but that does not look proper. The paint is literally chipping off. Oh, and look at this. Was it green? Did this thing have green calipers before and then they changed them to blue? I mean, I don't blame them. The blue looks a lot better, but what is going on here? All right, so I just took this out for another 10 miles of fun, and the check engine light has not returned. I scanned it again for codes. We don't have any pending codes. The engine sounds great. It runs great. Not even the code for the coolant pump for the intercooler system came back. And typically when that codes up or the pump fails, there's a massive reduction in power, which this car definitely does not have. So the engine on this car is good. The transmission is perfect. The whole drivetrain is in excellent condition. And I did a little bit more research on all of the modules in the back. So I'm going to say all the modules in the trunk and the ABS pump we can do for about $3,800 in parts. So not horrible considering the type of car that it is. The back glass, $450 installed, and then it needs one new tire in the back. I don't know why. No, seriously, it's just got a bad tire in the back. They actually have a lot of tread. The brakes are good. The steering and the suspension is good. A little bit of leak from the rear main seal, but not the end of the world. And then obviously the car needs a massive cleaning, the interior and everything. But what I want to be able to report back to Sam is on the condition of the paint. So, you know, clearly it's been keyed. But some of them, like this one, my nail isn't really, well, it's kind of catching. It's not too bad. So I'm going to use some compound and I'm going to try and buff out some of these scratches just to get a good idea of what we're working with here. And then we're going to mint out these headlights as well. And we already put the rear bumper valence back on. So overall, we've taken a real big pile of garbage, theft recovery, Repo Alpina, and made it run really good. We're gonna make it look kind of good right now. And that's not bad considering I'll have like less than 50 bucks into this. Now this is something you don't do every day. You gotta be careful not to pressure wash the suede deck lid in an Alpina because it's totally open right now. Okay. The back end styling with the body kit from Alpina looks so good on these cars. Look, the scratch disappeared. It's gone. All it needed was a wash. Okay, yeah, I'm just kidding. It's still there. All right, this thing doesn't clean up half bad. I'm gonna buff out the headlights, so that one should turn out really, really nice. And we'll see what I can do. That's gonna be a challenge right there. And you know, all the key marks on there and the back glass that's blown out. Other than that, this is a thing, and this thing is heavily scratched, but let's see what we can do about that. All right, we're using a coarse wool pad that's seen better days, but not a detail shop here. This is all I got, so I'll put a little bit of this coarse compound on there, rub it out. I know you detailers out there are having a heart attack right now for multiple reasons, but don't worry, this probably won't work at all anyway. Here we go. Yeah, no, this ain't happening. Gotta say, the paint around it looks really nice and shiny, but I don't think this is gonna work. Let's just try a different pad that's less beat up. I need some more detailing supplies, that's for sure. All right, I kind of figured, gave it the old college try. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, yeah, I guess it's a little bit better. Kind of doesn't make too big of a difference though. It's still keyed. You can definitely still tell it's keyed. But yeah, maybe in some spots like over here, we made a dent in the scratch. I don't know, maybe the guys at Chicago Auto Pros or something could work their magic out with this. We're gonna touch up paint over here as well and see what we can do. I mean, The alternative is probably like a $5,000 to $7,000 paint job. Kind of curious how good we can make this car look on a massive budget. So we'll just get this lower valence in the front repainted, but maybe get some professionals over here and buff it out and see what it would look like. It would at least make for a pretty good video. Here, like this, I think I could fix this. All right, here we go. I'm just gonna hit this whole area right here. Let's see what we can do. Nice. Yes, these are totally gone. Awesome. Look at that. They're gone. We got some of the key marks gone. This is probably when they were running away because they heard an alarm going off. They just kind of, at the last moment, just, and then ran off. I don't know. That's my breakdown of the crime scene. But yeah, no, those are good. Obviously, there are some deeper ones. Guys, let me know in the comment section, do you want to see a key job revival video? We'll just do the best we can do for like under $50. We spent 50 bucks on touch-up paint and some other materials, and that's all we have to work with to save ourselves from like a $7,000 paint job. I think that'd be a fun video. Okay, $50 plus like $250 to get this front valence painted because we're not gonna get away with anything on that. All right, guys, I'll leave you a complete video on how I wet sand, buff, and protect headlights down below. I've done this a few times on the channel, so I won't go over every single step again here. But yeah, I'm gonna do a 3-stage wet sand job because these are really bad, and then a 2-stage buff job. Hopefully these will look really nice. That one I think is gonna look perfect. All right, well, I gotta show you the satisfying part. We're basically exfoliating this lens. We're removing the top yellowed layer, and in the beginning, it's a lot of fun. You're really taking off a lot. So it's gonna look worse. It's gonna look cloudy in your beginning stages, but it will get better. I promise, it will get better. All right, so after 3 stages with the wet sand, this is what we're left with, the frosted look. And now we're gonna hit it with the coarse compound first, of course. And after 2 stages with the coarse, it's looking less frosted. So now we're moving on to the fine compound and a kind of dirty fine pad. And this is gonna be our final step, and I'll probably do this like 3 times. We'll see how good we can get it. All right, I just rinsed all the buffing compound off, and we are looking a million times better in the front. So this driver's side headlight was the one in the worst condition, and it looked like this before, and now it looks like this. So it's not perfect. There's some imperfections that you can see here. It's on the inside. This is perfectly smooth now. So not much we can do with that. And this side wasn't too bad to begin with. It looked like this before and like this after. So at the very least, now these headlights kind of match a little bit more. And if you can imagine that bottom valence painted, I mean, the front end would look mint, you know, and the scratches taken out and everything. And there you have it, a vandalized and repossessed, yet clean title, 2011 B7 Alpina. And this car came to us just yesterday with a lot of problems. It had a flat tire in the back. It had yellowed out headlights. It was missing the rear bumper lower valence piece. It also used to have a trunk full of water that's all dry now, and I'd love to show you, but the trunk doesn't want to open anymore. It also had about 250 trouble codes. Its ultra reliable twin turbo V8 engine also barely ran and was shaking and misfiring all over the place. And now it's running so smooth that I can balance a AAA battery that I found underneath the seat. And now we're down to a measly 18 issues found, 18 trouble codes. That is not bad considering new BMWs get shipped from the factory with at least 6 or 7 codes guaranteed. And look at our instrument cluster. If it wasn't for the bad ABS module, we wouldn't have any lights on at all. All of these have to do with that faulty and weirdly broken ABS module. Still no check engine light, engine temperature is perfect, and we need fuel again. So that'll do it for today's video. Let me know in the comment section down below what you guys would do with this B7 Alpina, and also let me know if you want to see a key job revival type of detailing video on a serious budget. So with that, if you enjoyed this video, give it a big thumbs up, share the video with your friends, subscribe if you haven't already, check out LegitStreetCars.com for some LSC merch, and most importantly, have an awesome day. I'll catch all of you in the next video.